Most AI automation breaks at the exact moment you stop watching it, not because the model is useless, because the system around it is vague. You ask for an answer, it gives you prose, then your automation tries to treat that prose like data. That is where reliability dies. A human can read a messy response and infer meaning. A workflow cannot. If your next step needs a status, a category, a date, a score, a reason, or an action, then pretty good text is not good enough. Automation needs shape. It needs fields. It needs constraints. It needs outputs that a machine can parse without guessing. Structured outputs are how you move from asking AI for words to asking AI for usable decisions. The mistake most people make is treating AI like a smart intern. They send it an open-ended prompt, hope the response looks right, and manually clean up the mess. That can work for one task. It does not scale. The better frame is this. The model is only one component in a larger system. You are not trying to make the model sound intelligent. You are trying to make it produce contract-compliant output that another part of your stack can safely consume. That is an engineering problem. The first move is to stop asking for an answer and start defining a contract. A contract says, these are the fields, these are the allowed values, this is required, this is optional, and this is what each value means. For example, instead of analyze this lead, you want a structured result. Lead quality, primary pain point, recommended next action, confidence, reasoning summary. Now the output has a shape. That shape matters because every downstream step depends on it. A CRM update, a routing decision, a draft email, a dashboard metric, a human review queue. If the output format is loose, every step after it becomes fragile. Structured output is not just about format, it is about reducing interpretation. The model should not decide what good, warm, or urgent means differently every time it runs. You need clear categories, not high priority as a vibe. High priority because the user requested immediate help, mentioned a deadline, or showed buying intent, not technical issue as a loose label. Technical issue because the input contains a broken workflow, integration failure, missing access, or system error. When categories are undefined, the model improvises. When categories are defined, the model classifies. That distinction is the difference between content generation and operational automation. A reliable AI workflow should not treat explanation and action as the same thing. Humans like explanations. Systems need decisions, so separate them. One field can hold a short rationale for review. Another field holds the actual action the system will take. That action should come from a controlled set. Create ticket, request more information, escalate, ignore, send draft, flag for human review. This prevents a dangerous pattern, letting a paragraph of natural language secretly control your system. You do not want your automation scraping intent from a sentence. You want the model to choose a valid action, then explain why in a separate field. That gives you traceability without letting prose drive the machine. Structured output does not mean blind trust. It means you have something you can validate. That is the entire point. Before your workflow acts, it should check the output. Are all required fields present? Are the values valid? Is the confidence inside the expected range? Is the action allowed? Does the result violate any business rule? If validation passes, continue. If validation fails, retry, repair, or route to a human. This is where reliability starts to look less like magic and more like normal software engineering. You do not trust every database write. You validate input. You do not trust every payment event. You verify it. AI output should live under the same discipline. Most AI systems fail badly because the builder only designed the success path. They imagined the perfect response. They did not design for malformed output, uncertainty, contradictory input, missing context, or low confidence. Automation becomes reliable when failure has somewhere to go. If the model is uncertain, ask for human review. If required data is missing, request clarification. If the output is invalid, retry with the validation error. If the decision is sensitive, create a draft instead of executing. This is not weakness. This is control. A serious system does not pretend uncertainty does not exist. It contains uncertainty so it cannot damage the workflow. The goal is not to make AI perfect. The goal is to make imperfection survivable. The broader the task, the harder reliability becomes. Run my business operations is too wide. Classify this inbound message into one of 6 support categories is workable. Structured outputs perform best when the model has a narrow job, clear inputs, and a defined decision surface. You can chain those jobs together. Classify the request, extract the entities, choose the next action, generate the draft, validate the result. Each step has its own contract. Each step can be tested. Each step can fail safely. That is how you build leverage without building a black box. You break intelligence into small, inspectable units. Then you connect them with rules. Once outputs are structured, AI becomes easier to use in real systems. Not because it becomes flawless, because it becomes observable. You can log decisions. You can measure error patterns. You can compare outputs over time. You can spot categories that need better definitions. You can improve the workflow without rewriting the whole machine. This is where AI starts to feel less like a chatbot and more like infrastructure. The model produces structured decisions. Your software validates them. Your workflow executes only when the output meets the contract. And your humans review the edge cases instead of babysitting every response. That is the leverage. Here is the line I use. If a human is going to read the output, prose is fine. If a machine is going to act on the output, structure is mandatory. That rule removes a lot of confusion. A blog draft can be natural language. A routing decision should be structured. A summary can be prose. A compliance check should be structured. A customer reply can be text. The decision to send it should be structured. Do not automate from vibes. Automate from contracts. That is how you reduce manual cleanup, lower operational risk, and make AI useful beyond the demo. The fragile button from the start was never really the problem. The problem was asking a probabilistic system for loose text, then expecting deterministic software to understand it. Structured outputs fix that boundary. They turn AI responses into something your systems can validate, route, measure, and improve. One takeaway: if the next step is automated, the output needs a contract. And key, subscribe for more breakdowns on AI systems, automation, SaaS architecture, and digital leverage. And if you want the wider operating system behind this work, go to ectdd.com.au.